And good morning. It's GW3 Live. We're so excited. Not only it's all about how we start off these magical Mondays, but it's about mastering Mondays. And today we have an incredible guest that's not only going to show us how she masters her Mondays, but she's also going to show us how she brings about it with a certain type of flair. I'm Renee Noor, so delighted to be here with you all for this new fresh start day. It is the April 1st, and we're looking so forward to bringing up our special guest, Commissioner Alana Sanders. But before we do that, we'll be right back after these announcements. I'm Renee Noor, model, creative director, founder of Global Women Wealth Warriors, Wellness Hub, and GW3 Magazine. I dedicated my life and devoted my career into helping women and girls to achieving their goals. I've been passionate about empowering women and enriching men. This opportunity in working with the Global Women Wealth Warriors have afforded me the pleasure of traveling outside of the country to be a support unit, most importantly, to help impact and change lives. Our ultimate purpose is to help others to become whole from finance, spiritual, mental, as well as physical. We know there are challenges and obstacles to get you to the next level. However, it's time for you to level up, boss up, and welcome to Power to Soar. And we are back. And not only are we soaring, oh my goodness, we got the power to continue on living this life with this whole new fresh start. Well, today we're bringing about an amazing opportunity for you to meet this incredible, phenomenal woman. I've had the pleasure of knowing her for many years, but you know what they say, we get better with time. Bring on our very own Commissioner of Newton County, the one, the only, Miss Alana Sanders. Oh my goodness.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing today?
I am doing amazing. I can't complain. I'm
Well,
breathing, I'm living.
Well, you look great every time we see you. You bring that certain flair to the stage, and we're going to talk about that as well. You know, I want everybody to know not only have I had the opportunity of knowing this incredible, phenomenal woman, Miss Alana Sanders, but this was back in the day when we're all into fashion, right? When we're all
Yes, fashion, modeling, all those great things.
And I see how you've evolved over the years and just watching you in this political, well, let's just say this. You have brought something to the table that is so unique and it's so incredible. Not only are you the voice in, you as the commissioner in Newton County, but you also are helping women to be able to find their voices in this space as well. So please, Alana, if you don't mind, go ahead on and introduce yourself so everyone can know exactly who this queen is. Take it away, Alana.
Hello, everyone. As she stated, just a correction, it's Elena,
Um,
but everybody calls me Alana. That's okay. Elena Sanders. I am the Commissioner of Newton County, Georgia. One of the exciting and the honorable things is that I'm the first African American to sit in this position. I'm the first minority person of color to hold my seat. I am the only woman on a board of men. And so I'm excited that I'm considered to be a trailblazer. I'm excited about this and this opportunity to speak to women and to be able to have this opportunity to sit in this seat and tell my story, and also encourage more women to get into the political arena, because we need more voices of women in this political arena. And I am Elena Sanders.
Absolutely incredible. Elena, and one of the greatest opportunities, I love the fact that you just really took your seat. Like I said, you broke barriers and you're still helping other women to identify the importance of not only finding their voice, but really going to work in the community. Can you please share with us why is it so needed right now for us to embrace more women to get into this space, please?
I'm glad you asked that question. If you're paying attention to what's happening in the state, if you're paying attention to what's happening on the federal level, there are a lot of laws that are determining how we as women are to govern our own bodies. And to have those who are not of our gender, who have never experienced some of the things that we have gone through, to make laws and to tell us what we can and cannot do with our God-given bodies, that is a problem. So we need more women in this arena to have a voice. Women, I would have to say, and it's no offense to my male counterparts, we bring that sensitivity factor. We bring that factor of, okay, what if we make these laws? How is it going to affect people? We bring that factor of thinking twice before making a decision. And so it's very important that we have more women in this role, because our voices need to be heard. We are a small percentage in the political arena, especially on the local level. It's getting better. It's growing more. I'm seeing more women on the local level, but we also need more on the state and federal. And just to get us more interested in this role, that's why I actually wrote a book on Black women in a male-dominated world, elected officials' journey, where I wrote the book as a guide to help women become elected and to get them informed on what happens when you become elected. And it's a workbook that helps you, walks you through, gives you the terminologies, what resolutions mean, what various words in the political arena mean. And it's not only just for those who want to run for office. If you just want to know more about what's happening in this space, because as a business owner, if you do not know who your elected officials are, that is a complete problem. There's a lot of grants that come down. There's a lot of funding. Each county received millions of dollars during the pandemic for COVID relief to help small businesses and nonprofits. And so many businesses had no idea this funding came to their counties because they were not informed and they were not in the know.
I absolutely love that, Alana. Let's talk about that because one of the things you shared, and you made so many good points. And right now we're on live on YouTube alongside with Facebook. We're in the clubhouse, and the ladies are blowing up the chat. Okay. Not only is it something that we sometimes get misinformed, but I'll say this also, women sometimes, because they've been really so dependent of a spouse or a significant other, sometimes they feel a little bit like a fear of even going and taking a leap of faith of applying for grants, or also even just taking the initiative in that area. When we were growing up, our parents, our mothers weren't even able to go to the banks back then. They couldn't even open up an account without their husbands. So now that we're in this space, the independency of women, especially African American, we really have to bring this to the forefront. How do you think? What would you recommend for those women, not just only in the Atlanta area, but
Mhm.
also outside of Atlanta? How can they go about being more proactive in getting involved?
Just to inform you that women are the number one voters in the United States of America. In a lot of counties, African American women are the number one voters. We determine how our livelihood, we determine who's going to sit in these seats. So getting involved is basically just saying starting local. If you want to start local with your city council and your mayor or the board of education, Also, starting with your county commission. That is important. Many don't understand that your local level of politics, and I don't like to say the word politics, I'll never consider myself a politician, but your local level is the most important, because those elected officials on that local level, your city council, your mayor, your commissioners, are determining your livelihood. They're determining what's going to happen in your area, what buildings are going to be brought in your area, what type of businesses, how your business is going to be ran, permits, all those various things, zoning. So it's important that you stay informed. To give you an example, on our agenda this Tuesday on the local level, there's an agenda item that's trying to stop the comments of the public speaking at the meetings. Do you see how your voices are being suppressed even on the local level? So I received so many calls from constituents like, what are you guys doing? How are you going to stop our voice from commenting and holding you as elected officials accountable when we are taxpayers, when we fund the budget, when we pay the salaries of those who are sitting in seats? So those are small little laws or policies that affect you as a whole. Why would you suppress somebody's voice to hold an elected officials accountable when you are our bosses? We are the ones who are representing you. When you go to the polls and you are voting for someone, you are voting for a representative to be a voice of you. So as women, it's very important, because as the Board of Education, that's your children. What they determine what happens in the school system. So you should know your Board of Education member. These are people who are voted in by you to hire the superintendent, to govern how your school system is going to be ran, the policies and procedures. Then you're going to the mayor, who is the mayor and the city council. These are people who are sitting on these boards, determining the permits for your business, determining the zoning laws, whether if you're a developer in the chat, if you can build, or what's going to happen in that community, determine the various fees and the taxes that you will pay. We set the millage rate on the county level, determine the taxes that's going to be assessed to your properties and so forth. So it's very important that you are involved on the local level first to know what's happening around your homes. Because if not, then you're going to wake up one morning and find out that there's no park for your kids, that there's nothing for your children to come back to when they grow up. It's very important.
You know, these are some real issues that you're speaking about. And that's why it's so important for us to not only to get involved with our community, but as you indicated, we need to know who are the decision makers and make it our point of interest, so therefore we can be a part of those that change as well. I was speaking with some of the ladies out of New York City. You had the opportunity, and first I want to say this: thank you for not only with your unwavering commitment, but we have so much gratitude that you have been able to have that focus of regarding to just having us to really develop, and more importantly, to really commit ourselves to change as well. What used to happen in the back in the day, that no longer exists. We have to be very proactive, and most importantly, we have to be relevant. I hear that a lot, that relevancy of being able to understand the decisions that need to be made are also important to you and your household. One of the other things also, Commissioner, a lot of people don't think that their vote matters, that their vote count. And that's probably why you see that there's not a lot of people that's coming out to vote. But I'm just hearing your conviction, as well as the importance of using our not only our voice, but absolutely getting together with other groups, so therefore we can strengthen this call to action. So share with us as well. One of the things I want to say, not only we're grateful that we celebrated you, we saw you in not only just in passing, but just understanding that your voice is in the space right where it belongs. I know when we were speaking to, as I share with you, with Ms. Karen Geddes, and even we have ladies over in the Las Vegas area. Chicago is in the house. I see Ms. Jackie here. Of course, we have ladies in Atlanta, Florida. We have women all across the board. There's no reason why we should fear anything. And I can hear that also in how you've been able to position yourself. What are the other reasons why, in regard to who have been able to be your mentors in this space, so therefore they have been able to guide you? Who are some of those mentors?
I've had a lot of state reps who were my mentors before I even got into this arena. I've had church members who were elected officials that I worked with them on their campaigns, behind the scenes and so forth, social media, because I'm a social media professor, marketing professor. And so talking to them and I'm hearing my voice, they said, "You're going to be in politics." I said, "The devil's a lie."
Oh boy.
So I guess that they were speaking into my existence, speaking into my future, because after they told me that, 5 years later, I ran for commissioner. And so, as you kind of mentioned, mentors are very important, especially in spaces that you want to go into. You want to have somebody who's been through it, done it, can motivate you to tell you what the ins and outs, not just the good part, the bad as well. They didn't tell me everything, because if they would told me everything, I probably would have not walked and took that leap of faith. But they gave me enough to say that things need to be changed and you have the voice to do it. Speaking on women, we have to understand that we changed the game. We are the leap of faith. We are the ones that are taking the risk now. It's not like the olden days, like you stated, our parents are before then. We are running businesses. We are the most educated in the United States of America when it comes to higher education. We have what it takes to move into that space. So when somebody tells you that you don't have it, it's because they're trying to suppress your voice. That's why there's laws out there trying to stop the vote. You have SB 202 because they saw in 2020 how many African American women came out to vote and changed the game, and so many seats were flipped to women, especially Black women. So now that they're trying to put laws in there to stop you from voting and changing the game because people are running scared. So if people are changing laws just because of what you've done and how you're moving, that's how important your vote is. You hear a lot of people saying my vote don't count, as you just stated, Renee. There are elected officials who won by 1 vote. There are elected officials who won by 5 votes. And so that's why your vote does count. I was speaking to one of my constituents who said, my vote is earned. I'm not voting in this election. And so in the presidential primary that we just had, we have 90,000 registered voters in my county. You want to know how many came out for that election?
How many?
9,000 out of 90,000 registered voters. So I was speaking to them. And the crazy part about it, a lot of them didn't even know that we had an election on that day. I had people calling saying, "What are we voting for?" So that lets you know they didn't even want you to know that an election was going on, as they was, normally they would say, "Oh, election's coming." You'll see all these commercials on TV. You don't see that anymore because they don't want you to vote, because they know that your vote does matter. So when you think your vote does not matter, it does matter. It matters versus having a Trump versus a Biden, having a Stacey Abrams, or whomever it may be that's in office. It determines that. When Stacey Abrams ran for office, and I'm not talking about the candidate that's in office now, because I work with all parties, although I am a Democrat. But when Stacey Abrams ran for office, we had 30% of the state of Georgia that voted. 30%. Just imagine if everyone would have gotten out to vote, she would have been the first female governor, the first African American governor, the first African American female governor. And I'm not just saying that based on race, and that should not be a statement we have to say in 2024, but we are here. It's keeping it real. We are the first of many. I should not be the first Black female on this board in 2024, but that's where we are. We have to keep it real. It's not being racist. This is where we are. We have to speak on it. But she could have been the first woman to represent us if everyone would have gotten out to vote. Not saying that they would have voted for Stacey, but they would have voted. We would never know because everybody didn't come out to vote. So your vote does matter. It's important. And if there's a candidate that you might not like out of those, you probably don't like both of the candidates. You have to pick one of them that aligns with your values. You cannot allow your vote not to count and we get the wrong person in office. You have to vote. This election coming up, you have your local elections coming up in May. You have your general elections coming up in November. It is so important that you go back to the polls because they're looking for you not to return. We have to vote 3 times this year. And if there's a runoff, that is 4 times you have to go to the polls. Get in your car. If you can go to the mall, if you can go to places, if you can go to a restaurant, you can take that 15 minutes to go and vote.
We are truly one of those places right now. well, I want to say this. Thank you, because I know you're right now, you're campaigning and you're champion. Your voice is already, we already hear that you're going to win already. We're going to claim it for you as well. You know, the
Amen.
key here is not only to acknowledge the importance of the increasing female representation. I'm going to say the word that you don't like in politics,
Yeah.
but also I say politics and beyond, because it's much farther than just where we are in politics. And like what you said with statistics, it has revealed not only is it important, that compelling narrative, when women hold political office, we see tangible improvements
Yes.
in governance, policy, outcomes, and even societal well-being. So, ladies, we want you out there. We need more representation for you, for us, so therefore we can get more of a broader perspective. And think about this also. Think about the mentors. If you need a mentor, the woman that's already broke those glass ceilings, she's right here. Our very own Commissioner Sanders, right there in the Newton County. And you know what I love about it? You are always everywhere. You make sure women understand the higher proportion we need to see us in government, the higher proportion we need to be able to help elevate us, so therefore we can reduce some of that corruption. I'm going to say it. All right. We can get greater
Speak on it.
investment. Come on now. And even social welfare programs, because that's something that we know it really matters to us in regard to how we nurture the family. So that's an increased focus that we have to also address certain issues in that space. And I want to say this, like how you're educating us on some of these areas. You talked about the grants. You're speaking about also some of the other important things that we just did not know. This chat is blowing up. They're in the clubhouse. They're excited about hearing your voice. What are some of the other areas, because I know, like, even with the shift with the healthcare, as well as just even with environmental sustainability, what are some of those issues also that really you are looking to hone in on? Please share, Commissioner.
Mental health is one of the biggest issues as well. Here in the state of Georgia, all 159 counties, we did a resolution to say that mental health is a crisis. And because the county commissioners did those resolutions in the 159 counties, we were able to have our governor sign off and say this is an issue, to where more funding is going to be coming down the pipeline to those counties to assist with mental health programs. That is a huge issue. A lot of people don't know that Georgia had a $16 billion, I'm going to say that again, $16 billion surplus. That means excess taxes, excess money that was sitting in an account in the state of Georgia. But we still have homelessness. We still have those who don't have insurance, who cannot go to the doctor. We still have teachers who are underpaid. We still have essential workers who need to be paid, law enforcement officers who need to be increased in pay. So we need to think about, if we have a surplus of 16 billion, normally when you have a surplus, that money is supposed to go back to the taxpayers, or the officials can vote to say, we want to budget this and put it in various places. So if we have that type of money that's left over, then we need to put it in programs that are relevant for our people to succeed in this United States, as well as this state of Georgia. Mental health. We have people who are still homeless, building various things for our homeless people so they can have the resources to get them off the streets. A lot of your homeless residents, your unsheltered, that's the new word, the unsheltered residents, have mental illness. Some of them are veterans who don't even know that they have the resources, because when they came from war or wherever it may be, they didn't know that they have these various resources that are provided to them by being a veteran or by being in the military. So educating them as well. There's funding for those unsheltered veterans to seek housing, but they don't know that. They don't know their resources. So we have to put that money back into the place to help those communities that are in need. I'm a big supporter of underserved communities to make sure that we take care of those who don't have a voice. I'm a voice for the voiceless. I'm a voice for those who are in need. I'm a voice for education, to making sure that we have the right and proper education in this United States of America, but because I represent the state of Georgia as well as the state of Georgia. The state of Georgia is still at the bottom of the list for education, but we have a surplus of 16 billion. Why are we at the bottom of education when we have money left over? Let's put the money where it needs to be. This is why your vote matters, because you will put the right people in office that's going to take care of all of the state of Georgia, or wherever state that you may be in, or whatever country you may be in. You have to get out and put the right people in place to take care of you and the future. A lot of us are not going to be here that long. So we have to raise up the future to be able to lead once we have left here. So it's important that we put our resources back into the people.
Woo! Let me say this. Come on, guys, put some fire emojis up in the chat. You know, I am so happy that you have found not only your calling, Commissioner, but you are so passionate about what you're championing as well. And I'd like to say that I see that so many of the ladies are like, we have to get more involved. Shirley over there in she's over in the Florida area. You know, we
Oh,
are
Florida, yes,
so
most definitely.
grateful. Talk about Florida. Go ahead, talk about.
Florida, most definitely. They're trying to erase our history in Florida. They're trying to get rid of books that speak on what we came from and how it happened and our ancestors in Florida. I have a lot of friends that are in Florida. I'm a part of a lot of progressive organizations like Local Progress, where we have elected officials, local elected officials come together, try to make laws to help with affordable housing and various things of that nature. And I speak to the commissioners and the Board of Education members in Florida, and to hear some of the issues that are happening, that is unheard of in 2024, that we're still dealing with things that happened back when our ancestors fought for us to get past, that we're now fighting for in 2024 is a problem. When you're trying to erase history, Black history, I would not be in this seat if it wasn't for the history of getting there. I was just watching the Shirley Chisholm story. Shout out to my star, Shirley Chisholm, on Netflix. If it wasn't for her stepping up and being the first woman and the first African-American woman running for president of the United States and being in Congress, I wouldn't be here. So there's people who paved the way. So to try to erase the history of a culture, that is a problem, because our children don't even know how we got from now being able to run for office, now being able to walk in stores freely, now being able to drink at those water fountains. Our children have to know where we came from. And to erase that history and to say that we cannot talk and speak about it, that means that somebody is, let me say the word right, somebody is not, they want to be apologetic about it, but they want to erase it to where they don't have to apologize to what happened. It happened. It occurred. So we just have to speak on it and make sure it doesn't happen again. And that's why you have to get out and vote, to make sure those people in place, no matter what color they may be, although we're speaking on African Americans, that they representing all and not certain economical status or certain cultures. They representing the whole entire dynamics of people, because even the state of Georgia is a melting pot. America is a melting pot of various different cultures and people. So you want the right person in place that understands and is not afraid to speak on African Americans, not afraid to speak on Hispanics, or all of us need to come together and vote the right person in office.
You need to run for president. I'm saying, okay? We had Shirley Chisholm, but now we need to have our very own right here running for president. Well, you know what? I want to just say this. Not only do we need to continue to champion the cause of women in politics, but also recognize that we have to, really, guys, we have to put forth the potential to drive with this positive change. And not only that, you know, some of the things I'm going to talk about and how we got to foster more collaboration. How can we help you? You know, not only am I grateful that we celebrated you just this past weekend, you know, for just doing that, breaking those glass ceilings. You know, you have not only been able to break the glass ceiling when it comes down to politics and fashion, but you are now breaking the glass ceilings with really collaborating with women all across the nation. I look at you are also being able to build not only a brighter future for us all, but just realizing that we have more work to do. And that means not only breaking down those barriers, my mom, they came from Mississippi. And sometimes, unfortunately, there's still dark, deep back
Yes.
in the, you know, sometimes I'm over there like, you guys don't have computers. What's going on now? It's so unfortunate that we feel as if that we have to go backwards in order to go forward. But you've been able to pave the way. You've been able to pave the way even for the GW3 Society here. And as I continue on appreciating hearing your voice, let more women hear the voice of Commissioner Sanders today. We need more women voices to be in these seats. So therefore, she's not alone. And if you want to join her in this focus as well as in this movement, how can people get in contact with you so we can continue on celebrating not only you, but also others to follow through? And I'll say this, even for some of our young leaders, that also we need to have them right there, sitting there, making these decisions, not just on a local level, but eventually, as I already gave it out to you, President, Commissioner, okay? Share with us, how can we get in contact with you?
Yes, you can get in contact with me on all of the social networks at Commissioner Elena Sanders or Elena Sanders. You can go to commissionersanders.com or elenasanders.com. All those networks, I'm available. I do respond. I have people all the time say, "Oh my God, you actually picked up your phone." We don't have elected officials that pick up their phone. I do respond. If you call or inbox me, I respond. If I'll text you back within 24 to 48 hours. I'll make sure I do that. And Renee, you spoke on about how to support more me or any women in this space. That's the key word, support. You put us in office and you leave us there. You have to stand behind your elected official. Your elected official is only as strong as the people who put them in office. You can't expect them to be superwoman. We're not super women. We get beat up all the time when we're fighting against or going against the grain. We get beat up when we're fighting for you for what's right. I speak on what's right and I'm going to call out what's wrong. That's just me. Some people say you might be on an island by yourself, but I'd rather be on an island by myself doing what's right and with God. Thank you. And so it's important that you support your officials. Go to those meetings, ask them what they need. And when that woman is in office, don't talk about her. Go to her if you see something you don't like. Go to her and say, "Hey, sis, this is what I see. So can we do this?" Go to her and encourage her so that she can be as strong as she needs to be to fight for you. Because there are days where the strong person needs somebody supporting them and pushing them forward. Because what you don't want is that strong person saying, "Hey, I don't have no support back here. So why am I in this fight again? Why am I doing this? I know it's my calling, but Lord, why am I here? Where are the people who put me in office who need to be here as well, speaking up and speaking out?" This is not the time for you to be quiet. I don't care if you're a constituent. I don't call my constituents constituent. I call them neighbors because I'm a local official and I see you in Walmart. I see you in the local grocery store. So you are my neighbor. So it's important that you speak up and speak out. You can no longer be quiet. Those days of being quiet and seeing things and not saying nothing and not holding elected officials accountable. We work for the people. We work for you. You hold us accountable.
You just blew up the screen, girl. Woo! Fire, fire, fire. Let's put some more fire emojis in the chat. Not only is it important for us to celebrate you with your achievements thus far, but we're going to be celebrating you also in April for your presidential award that you're going to be receiving. How does that make you feel? This woman, this leader, you are just invaluable contributions that you're making to not only women all across in the community, but also families. How does it make you feel, Commissioner?
I mean, it's mind blowing because it came to me at a right time. I was sitting in my truck and I was talking to God. I was like, "God, why do you do what I could be doing? I could be doing something else." You know what I'm saying? We have those moments. I'm going to keep it real with you. Elected officials who are for the people, we have those moments. I'm fighting, 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 fighting. But Lord, give me more strength. I need that strength. So it came at the right time, and I got the call and I was like, "What?" And I broke down in tears. I'm not a crier. People say you need to cry more, but I'm not a crier. But I broke down in tears because that was my answer from God, and I'm on the right path. That was my answer, that somebody is watching me and saying, my servant, good job. So he spoke to that person that called and said, you just been nominated for a presidential Joe Biden award. I was like, what? This is my first term. Like, what? That's unheard of. And so I'm thankful. And I don't do this work for clout. I don't do this work for show, because if you know the salaries of elected officials, we don't do this for the money. We do this because we want to see a difference. We want to see great things. I want to see the kids have programming in place so that they become better than me, that they come back and have, be able to be educational free, be debt free, going to school, providing those resources for them, for those who want to go into a trade, because everybody's not college bound, having those various things for them. And so it's important that as elected officials that we serve. We are servants. We are public servants. As you heard me say, public servants, we serve the community. Politicians go to jail. That's keeping it real. When you get into that political arena and you start forgetting why you are there, you start getting the things you're not supposed to. When you talk about that corruption, so that's why I have to remind myself I am a servant. I have to remind myself I'm here for the people. I have to remind myself I'm here for a reason and I'm serving God's people. So if I don't get this right, when it's time for me to meet my maker, I can't bring my entourage with me to say, oh, well, she did this because I got to answer. So I don't have to answer those hard questions to my maker. I want to do it right here on this earth so I know where I'm going when I leave this earth.
Absolutely incredible. Well, there you have it. Not only is it important for us to recognize that women continue to be the underrepresented in legislative, in the body of a whole. So that's why not only just here locally in Atlanta, but this is happening worldwide. So we know our women are faced with breaking barriers, just like our commissioner has done thus far. And so with that, we're going to need more women to help her. We're going to need more women to provide that access, resources, and support these networks so we can definitely stand not only on the shoulders of the trailblazers who have been able to pioneer, but also to be able to take them to the next step, to the next level, to continue on paving the way for even more to be a part of this collective power of group of phenomenal women. It's about effective change. It's about taking it to the forefront and making that constant difference in supporting women's in leadership and their initiatives. Again, we know it's not an easy fight, Commissioner, but we want to stand right there for you and for all those other ladies that put themselves out there during this time. This is, oh my goodness, this is the hot seat, but I really wanted to make sure we got an opportunity to speak to you, not only about your leadership in the politics, the leadership beyond. As you said, you're getting ready to receive not only the award, one of the highest prestigious awards in the government, because you're receiving it from Joe Biden's office. So we want to not only recognize you, we want to salute you. We want to say we are here to also keep elevating you up to that next level of your greatness as well. So thank you for being here. Thank you for not only what you do on a day-to-day basis, but even what you have to do, even in those closed doors, because like you said, those tears become real.
That's
and
right.
Sometimes we got to really face that side as well, because that's about that harmonious space that women have to go through. But one of the things I will say, you have done it. You are courageous. You are powerful. You are truly effective. Oh my goodness. Everybody's still blowing up in the clubhouse as well as right here on YouTube and Facebook. Again, we're going to make sure you guys can get in contact with Commissioner Sanders. Let's continue on helping her not only make that difference, become unstoppable in this journey, but let's make sure we have others that's going to help her navigate so therefore she can stay in that winning seat. Thank you so very much for being here with us today. Truly appreciate you. Truly not only appreciate what you've been able to do, but just having that full voice of being able to be in a space and appreciating your now. So one of the things that we do, Commissioner, we roll our shoulders back. We keep our heads up high. And you already know it's time to go blaze the universe. Why? Because not only does the world need another game changer, we are the game changers that the world needs. And for those that are watching, I want you to know as well, You are the game changer. It's time for us to start off with this fresh month of April. Everything is going to be fresh. And we're so glad that you've been able to join us. And thank you again. Thank you for your leadership and your compassion.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Guys, we'll see you on tomorrow, new day, Tuesday, and we're just welcoming you into this fresh April 2024. Bye for now. It's such a great honor to be able to raise funds for Living Beyond Breast Cancer Organization.
Yes, thank you, Renee, very much for helping us to organize this event. It's for a beautiful cause, and it's always our pleasure to help people.